Every church, I think, that I've been part of has a core of committed, devoted people who can be counted on not only to support the institution, but also to try to make the following Jesus real in their lives. We believe that God became a human being in the flesh of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and that he had a physical body. I mean, he was, we talk about in Jesus there were two natures, the divine nature and the human nature, but he was absolutely human and at the same time absolutely divine. So the church is by definition a community. It's people who are related to one another through baptism, and the point of a parish is to be kind of a laboratory of human relationships where we learn how to get along and we learn how to practice patience and forbearance and forgiveness.
So you were talking a lot about the afterlife and a lot about how Jesus resurrected himself. Do you believe in past lives or energies or auras? Like, tell me more of what you think.
Well, the Orthodox Christian teaching is that this is one. It seems like a different country from what I grew up in, and I think if this election goes the wrong way, I think it could be the end of the republic. It's hard to talk about the existence of a separate thing called the soul when we know that we can't even prove that there's a mind. Well, I find reincarnation a profoundly depressing doctrine. I think once is plenty.
Sure.
Well, life is a great gift. I would like to think that, we're given this gift once. Many of us make terrible mistakes in a lot of ways with the gift that we're given. But the promise is, despite the failings and the mistakes that we make them in the presence of a God that delights in us, that not just loves us, but likes us. You can love somebody and not particularly enjoy their company. But the science and religion, are not really at odds with each other. I think science and religion deal with different questions. Science is about how, and religion, I would say the questions about religion are
how to, the lessons that we're learning as a race, as humanity in a whole.
We don't seem to be learning much very fast, right?
Right, you would think so. There's a lot written down in those books.
Choose one. The first chapter of Genesis, the first creation story, where God, creates everything in 6 days, and is pleased with everything that he sees, and says it's good. And when he's finished, it says, "And God saw everything he had made, and behold, it was very good." People, especially in the scientific age, have tried to read that story as if it were some kind of scientific explanation.
Right.
Which is, I think the people that wrote it and the people that read it for thousands of years would find that absurd. One of the whole points of that creation story is that God created a pattern, a rhythm of work and rest for all of us. God rested on the seventh day, and that leads in the Old Testament to a very strong social justice teaching about, people, you got to give people a day off. Tried to structure my life since I began to feel that I was called to ordination, and the first one is the practice of giving. But it also changes our relationship with our possessions, because we truly come to understand that it isn't ours, and that we're taking care of it, managing it as best we can for somebody else. In 35 years of practicing this pattern of giving, I've never been disappointed. My partner, who died 2 years ago, was a priest. We were together 37 years.
Wow.
And, when I went to seminary, we lost 2/3 of our income. But we kept tithing, and somehow all the bills got paid. So it's, besides being an expression of gratitude, it's also a way of trusting God with this very important thing to us, which is our money. Throughout human structures and societies, there's people with certain kinds of positions or certain kinds of power or certain kinds of money actually come to believe that they're better than other people. We've had a history of presenting religion as a series of obligations and things that you must or ought to do,
right,
or must not, cannot do. And I just think that doesn't work today. Threatens punishment in a future life just doesn't resonate with anybody anymore.
Right.
So we have to get back, and Jesus never did that. I think many people, not everybody, but many people feel this desire for community and connection and meaning and stuff like that. And I want to say, well, this is a place where I think you can explore that and find that. You can't do it because you think you should. I mean, nobody will do what they don't want to do for longer than 5 minutes, even if they're under surveillance.
Yeah.
The religion is about the healing of the will, so that what we want is the same thing that God wants. And
does Jesus come back in the end?
Oh, well. See, religion is a human invention. Religions that people invent are all about naming somebody else as the other and scapegoating them, and therefore you and I are okay because we agree that those people are terrible. In the same way that in an office, you build solidarity with a coworker by making fun of or another one.
Right.
That's what the dynamic of the religions that people invent. And a terrible misuse of religion. What I might call God's way is totally the opposite of that. But every religious tradition can veer off the rails, and there are strains of that in American Christianity. I mean, that's why...
And misunderstanding.
Christianity. Oh, that's that anti-gay thing. That's how the right and the evangelical right has, remained united for so long by scapegoating people like me. Biblical interpretation is not just zeroing in on 6 words and saying this is the whole thing. You have
out
to,
of context as well.
You have to read the Bible in a way that no part of it contradicts other parts of it, and that's kind of a job. The first chapter of Genesis, at the end, God puts the world into the care of human beings, and we have truly messed that up in the last couple hundred years. We have wasted. We have polluted. We have done. I mean, for a long time, it seemed like, you could cut down all the trees you wanted in this country because there were hundreds of millions of acres of forest and stuff. So at one point, resources seemed limitless. Can make so much money off of exploiting resources and not taking care of the environment, and so I just don't think. But even now, there are people. Trump said that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. He did say that. He denied saying it last night, but he did say it.
We're in Brooklyn, man. I'm not too far away. Trump Tower is just a subway ride.
The world is definitely something that is not ours, that has been put into our care, and it's hard to conceive that we could have done a worse job. I had this experience that went on for like 3 weeks, where it felt like somebody's arm was around my shoulder saying, "It's all right. It's okay. it's okay. It's okay. I've never been the same since.
Right.
I mean, because I have felt that it was okay. I mean, it was a powerful experience of reassurance, and I have to believe, otherwise I would despair. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote a poem during the Civil War. His son had just been grievously injured in a battle. And it's, I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat, of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And it goes on, and in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for wrong is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then tolled the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men.
The right prevail.
The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. The thing is, we don't always see God. One hymn says, he hides himself so wondrously as if there were no God. But he is the ruler yet, and the wrong will fail.